Hello, lifers, and welcome to another episode of Because Life Can Be a Niche podcast where we talk about everything in life and nothing is off limits. And we have a lot of fun doing it. For those of you who are riding with us and listening, thank you so much for listening and for subscribing or listening wherever you get your podcast. And for those of you watching us on the YouTube channel, Life Can Be a Niche, thank you so much for supporting. Please subscribe, share it with your friends, tell others about it. And of course, always get in the comments. Tell me what you want to talk about. Tell me what you're interested in hearing about. We talk about life, so there's nothing that we can't talk about or share, and this is the safe place to do it. So with all of that being said, come on in the living room. Let's get it started. I'm going to start you off like I always do. You know how to get at me on social media at Katie Bryant Writes. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And for those of you who are following the blog, thank you for following. Please continue to do so. And you can find my blog, Life Unfolding. That's kdbryantwrites.com. So with that being said, y'all know we always have a tea of the episode. Not this week. This week on strictly water, no tea, no coffee, just water. So my tea, if I had some tea, I tell you what it would be. It would be a moringa tea. I have started that. It is moringa, Moringa, the moringa leaf. Very good for you, very healthy. This is the perfect time of year to start taking or drinking things that are good for your body. It provides nutrients, antioxidants. It's wonderful. So that's what I would be drinking if I wasn't doing a strictly water drink deal this week. So I'll be back with my moringa leaf, and I'm going to show you, how I make it and stuff. And I'm going to try to do it without any sugar. How about them apples? Because I told y'all my loose leaf tea, I really like to do it with German rock sugar or amber rock sugar, but I'm going to give that a try. But today, baby, it's not a teacup, but it's my cup because life can be a niche, and it is full of water. And it will be for the rest of the week. Water is good for you. Try to get yourself a gallon a day if you can, if it's safe for you and healthy for you to do so. But with that being said, can't wait to introduce you guys to my guest today. It's just exciting because it's a follow-up to my awesome guest that I had last week, M3. If you guys did not see that episode, please get on the YouTube channel. You've got to hear these young men sing. You've got to get their Christmas EP, and they are amazing and incredible. But you know what else is incredible? The parents who are taking care of them and who are pouring into them and helping them and leading them and guiding the way. So we will be talking with them today, and I am excited about that. So come on in the living room, get comfortable, have a seat, ride with us, and let's get into it. Awesome. Hey, lifers, welcome, welcome, welcome. We have some very special guests in the house. If you joined us last week and you got the treat of hearing M3, that's ATL's hottest boy band, M3. If you have not heard about them, you need to get after them. You need to follow them, M3_ATL. Make sure you go back and watch that podcast and show these young men some love. But you know how we have to do. We have to tie it all the way back to where it started. And where it started was with M3's parents in the house with us today. And we welcome you to the living room. So glad to have you. We have Rita and Egypt McWilliams joining us. And we're just going to jump right in because it's so much that we can talk about with these talented young men, but also about being parents in the industry, having their own careers, having a large, loving family, and a faith-based family. So we're just going to jump on in and talk to them. So you all give them some love, show them some love. And Rita and Egypt, let's just get into it. Welcome.
Okay.
Now, I know in the intro I just said, behind those young men, there are two very talented parents. And the young man mentioned, Rita, that you are an actress. So can you just tell us a little bit about your career, what you do, on top of managing all of these young men and women in the household?
Oh, well, I wouldn't say I am an actress, in the sense of actress, acting for a living. No.
Mhm.
Actually, I'm a massage therapist. But I went to school for drama and theater for 8 years, during junior high and all of my high school years. So I have experience with behind the scenes stagecraft, um, acting, children's theater, Shakespeare, Broadway, movies, films. So I did learn how it was in the industry, also learned some skills from the industry. So I'm very knowledgeable, and I am really into the arts, music and theater, um, and even like art. I love to go to art galleries. So yeah, so I follow music and I follow theater and acting. So I'm still deep in deep into it, but I just don't, practice it.
Got you, got you.
Yeah.
I feel you. So
I'm
you are
so busy these days, you
right.
know, from supporting them and my children and being a mom and, and working. So yeah, but maybe in the future.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
now listen, the real work is behind the scenes anyway, in the producing and the
Yes.
directing.
Yes.
So even if you don't act, let's just go
Yes.
ahead and put it out there. Let's speak it into existence.
Okay.
If you're out there producing or something, yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, we're in a place, especially Atlanta,
Yes.
where I mean
Yes.
the field is really green right now. So that is wonderful to hear. So that's where it came from, the artistic side. Now, Egypt,
Yes.
I
Mhm.
already
Yes.
know you've always been a talented musician. I shared on the show last week. We
Okay.
went to elementary school together. You could
Hmm.
always sing. You were always winning talent shows. So now, tell me how you have evolved and what you are doing today. I know you're a producer and a writer, but you tell us what's going on.
I have always been involved, as you know, even when I was a kid, in music, gospel, and groups here and there, dance groups, rap groups, singing groups. And of course, the older you get, you realize, what your gifts are. And then, when you're young, you're just excited and you got something there. You're just a kid. You don't really know what it is. You're trying to do everything, sing, dance, rap, write, act, anything that had to do with the arts. I would draw and just eventually when around, I was about 14, I'll say, and I started to get more involved with writing and arranging and creating the body of work, more so than performing it. Just a little bit more so because I still wanted to be an artist too. But over the years, as I networked with some of the most amazing, incredibly, truly talented people, I realized, okay, my lane is to enhance those people, you know, like Greg Collins. He's from Vienna. Greg and I sang together for years, and he doesn't like to. He doesn't like it when I say, I met Greg, boy, when Greg could hardly sing on key. And I could see the vision. He was so enthused. We were all kids, and he had this great big voice. So I just started working with Greg with the things that I learned over the years, being formally trained in music. And it went from there. I worked with, Willie Fred Hayes, Timothy Dempsey. I worked with all these amazingly talented people. Ernest Denard, one of the most talented people on the planet. He was a huge inspiration, a person that could do everything. So, that was kind of a trailblazer for me. Ernest Denard, the trailblazer. He could do everything. He could beatbox. He could rap. He could play the piano. He could sing. He could sing bass. He could play basketball. you know, he could draw. So I was inspired by people like that in Vienna and in Cordial, because Greg plays the heck out of some drums. He can sing, but he plays the heck out of some drums. So this was kind of a, you know, during the era when I was a teen, this was like a really a mantra in South Georgia that people learn how to do a lot of different things. So I wasn't very different from that. And then I met, you know, while I was in Cordial, I already was interested in rap because my cousin Elton moved to Macon for a few years, then moved back. And he was like this amazing rapper, and that inspired me. Then I moved to Cordial, a bigger town with some even more amazing rappers. You know, they inspired me. And the next thing you know, I was an adult singing. I learned a cappella music, singing with a group that we had this huge band. But eventually, we discovered that it was just too unreliable to try to depend on so many people. And literally, us four main vocalists got together and we were just singing a cappella, and we just came up with the idea, let's drop the whole band and let's us be our own group with no instruments. We have the know-how. Ernest and I can arrange the music, you know, and we went from there. And that experience, that few years of experience, you know, really, really helped me to hone in my skill as an arranger and producer, particularly when it came to voices. So moved to the city. Now, you know, I'm in Atlanta, where all these incredibly talented people are, but I'm very good with making music and arranging it. So just energy and the spirit attracts other like-minded folks. And before you know it, I was producing and arranging in Atlanta. And to make a long story short, you know, I married their mother. Rita is actually their stepmom, you know, and she's influenced them in the years that she's been in their lives. But when I married their mother and we had them, I already knew what it was going to be because they came from music, and they've been singing before they could talk. I remember before Nasir could talk, he was singing the whole verse of one of the High School Musical songs, you know. And so I knew back then that they would be something special. And I just started working with them, training them a little at a time. They got better and better and stronger and stronger. So here we are today, where people hear them and they're like, oh, they're just so amazing. They sound so good. And they do, and they are, but there's a reason behind that, because music today is somewhat hollow and shallow. It's minus a lot of very fundamental elements that we learned that were basic. And so I taught that to the boys. So that's what they bring. So they don't come half-stepping. They come with that same spirit and energy that I had, you know, learning to do everything and enthusiastically learning how to do everything and working towards mastering everything. And that's what they bring to the table. That's why they sing. That's why they rap. That's why they write. That's why they are learning to produce and arrange and sound record. They dance, you know, and they put on an amazing show. So that's how we got to where we are now, from those very, very humble beginnings. And it was not just, you know, me, myself. I was just gifted with these certain things and put in these certain positions to be where I am now. I like to coin this old adage, you know, I used to be the picture, but now I'm the frame. So that's where we are today.
I can see that, because I've been following them ever since you put them out there, and they even shared that they learned Jackson 5 songs,
Mm-hmm.
which, you know, that's the blueprint
Mm-hmm.
for, I mean, when you're talking about a powerhouse artistry band, that's the blueprint right there. So
Mm-hmm.
now with the two of you, with your artistic backgrounds together, how do you all decide, or how did you say, okay, well, we know there's something special, let's pour in them? You shared their mom was also, I'm assuming, in the arts as well.
She's a writer. She's a poet. and she's a very
Okay.
gifted writer. So they do get it from both sides. And
Okay.
then, when Rita and I got together, that just,
Mhm.
everything lined up the way it's supposed to. You know how the laws of attraction work.
Mhm.
And when to answer your question, sometimes you get to a point in life where you're a bit stagnant. I knew they were talented. I knew we had something special, but we were at a bit of a standstill, meaning we weren't really progressing the way that we could have been. And then I met her. Okay. She comes in with this fiery, what are you doing? You're like the new Joe Jackson. They're like the new Jacksons. You got to do something with that. I'm like, okay, but I used to have a lot of equipment. Well, get some more, you need to get whatever you need. And so she was pushing, pushing, pushing. And eventually she said, well, you got to get them in the studio. We went to this studio, and I'm not going to say the person's name. And I really appreciate them because they gave us a shot, but I was not, me being a perfectionist, particularly with music, I was not pleased with it. And she's like, well, you got to do it yourself. Can't you do it? And I'm like, well, babe, I've been out I'm making excuses. She's like, no, 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 you just got to do it. You can do it. Just start doing it. And so she inspired me to just buy all this equipment and just start up. And the more I kept recording and mixing, and I had gotten back into doing that, the better they were sounding. And so, we got to a point where, for instance, the Christmas EP, I was going to pay someone to mix it, and they were giving me a discounted rate, but, it's like they were a renowned producer. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Highly recommended. The rate was good, but I listened to their body of work and their songs were great, but they didn't really embody that level of vocal arranging in the mix that I wanted to hear. And I just didn't feel comfortable. And to be honest, the spirit just told me, along with her, probably through her, do it yourself. And that money you would have paid, just spend that time for the money that you would have paid him, and you just do it. And we came out with a great EP. I'm very pleased with it. We're all very pleased with it.
It's wonderful. That is an excellent EP. I
Thank you.
mean, it's just magnificent. Look at God's providence, his
You.
provision, and his purpose,
Mm-hmm.
coming together with the two of you coming together and
Mm-hmm.
then blended with their mother's talent as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, how can you go wrong? They
Right.
M3 really has the trifecta going on right there. So
Indeed.
they
We
are
count
they are set up.
Praise the Lord.
we count these blessings
Exactly.
every day. We count these blessings every day. Literally, we talk about, like, guys, do you know what you have? And I kind of saw in the interview where you asked them about girls, and they were trying to be reserved. They love girls. But they've made a decision, and I really respect them.
Mhm.
They made a decision to focus on their careers. And as we all know, we've all been kids, idle mind is the devil's workshop, is what they say. And if you're focused on a particular thing that inspires you, it's a little hard to get derailed. If you're not focused on that, it's a lot easier to get derailed.
Yeah.
So right now, by the grace of God, the three of them, their brothers, they're all focused, and they provide one another the checks and balances. You keep seeing us do this because the light is,
Their lighting.
yeah, it has a
So if I like push the
sensor on
button, will
it.
it stay on?
No, I have to adjust it. So
We need a remote.
I'm sorry, I'll just ramble on and on, but
No,
that,
no, no. This is perfect. Because and it was funny because I said, okay, girls, you can't call him. And I think it might have been I don't know if it was Nasir. It might have been, I think it might have been Nasir said, no, don't say that. Don't say that. But they did. They made it very clear. And I thought that was so mature of them
hmm
that they decided that in order to get where we want to be, we know that there is time and all of that will come. but
Hmm.
right now our focus is our career. And I hope that more kids, young people, young men, I hope they see that, because that was so important, and it speaks to the faith and the grounding that you guys have, the foundation you've laid for them. It comes through. It's so refreshing. My mom watched the podcast after it aired, and she said, I just love those young men. They are just so mature and so grounded. But it starts at the top. And I think
That's
that
right.
what you guys have done throughout the entire family unit is showing now. And that's was such a mature thing to say, because I know I know young girls are all over their Instagram and TikTok pages, I'm
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But for them
Oh
to say
yes.
we're going to
Yeah.
stay focused, that's a beautiful thing. And I commend you both for
Thank you.
that, because they are ready, they're hungry,
They
and they
are.
are after it, and that's wonderful. So by the grace of God, they'll stay
Yes.
focused.
Yes.
If
Yes.
they
Yeah.
made it this far, I think y'all are on the home stretch, because these are the years. If they 15 and 14, if they didn't go crazy then, I think I think they may be ready to coast and
Hmm.
walk right on into their next season and their next level. So with
Hmm.
that, I wanted to ask you, because I think we've already talked about, um, you knew you had something special on your hands, but how do you keep them grounded, or how did you do that? Because I'm sure inquiring parents of teens want to know, how did you guys get them to this level of maturity and focus?
You want to start?
A lot of fussing. A lot of repetition. you
Mhm.
know, because they're kids, they do things like kids do, and
Hmm.
it just takes us to parent them and say, no, you can't be that way, and you need to focus on this, or you need to be this way. And we'll be even like, is that the type of person you want to be? Like, like this
Hmm.
type of person, and this consequence could come from that.
Hmm.
We were very candid with them and real with them.
Hmm.
You know,
And on both sides of the family, we have free thinking households. So, our mantra
yeah,
is, I mean, if you got something to say it, just be respectful, because we've just learned that's the most effective way to parent, to at least know what's on their minds. Back in the day,
oh yeah,
I love mama and daddy, who I didn't have that luxury. You better keep your mouth shut and stay in a child's place.
yeah,
But
Right.
sometimes, they'll just walk up to me and just, say this, or, say, well, dad, just made me angry, when that happened. And what happens is that opens a dialogue so that you can explain further. And usually they're able, you can get through to them at that point. If there's no dialogue, you might fuss at them and tell them to do something. And in their minds, they think you're just, being a jerk or a
yeah,
butthead,
yeah,
without even
yeah,
resolving it.
yeah,
So we,
Mhm.
we encourage them to communicate with us, and we ask a lot of questions, what they think, how they feel about things, and that's with all of the children, specifically with them three being older. But yeah, that's how they stay grounded. Shoot, prayer, faith. We raise them in a lot of the fundamental cornerstones. Love, forgiveness, patience, um, charity, helping others, giving back to others, family. These are some fundamentals that we teach them outside of just music, so that no matter where they go, they still have that.
Mhm. I love that. And I love that you say you both have free thinking households. I That's the same for me and my sons as well, is be respectful, but say it. Because I think what we end up with is a generation of, I know we were told, hey, children should be seen and not heard, stay in your place. But that's also where sometimes, that can lead to so many other issues,
Yep.
that where children are holding in what they're feeling, or dealing with something emotionally or mentally.
Right.
even, and you're not aware. So that is, I love that you say that.
Thank you.
And that's some advice you can use no matter whether you're raising a superstar group or,
I know that.
just some regular teenagers who just, hey, I just want to go hang out at the mall. That
Right.
Yeah.
that advice
Right.
goes across the board.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely agree there. Now, what are you most excited about in this season for M3?
You first, Mom.
Oh, I think I'm the most excited about this whole little sessions live thing they got going on, and with them starting that with the whole EP, it's like just about. I mean, I'm just, and then they have another EP coming out in February. I'm just really excited to see them blow up, just to see how the next 6 months is gonna go, because I mean, it's just so many possibilities, so many things that we got going on
Mhm.
right now. So
It's very exciting times.
yeah,
I guess to answer that, um, it's hard to say. I'm excited about it all because so many different things just happen regularly on a day to day, and we have to take note of it and then adapt. We had a new breakthrough today that we kind of we planned for, but we didn't know how to quantify it until it happened, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, this is what we'll be doing from now on, and this is happening pretty regularly,
Mhm.
um, like she was talking about this sessions thing, and what that is I don't know if the boys mentioned it. It's a platform that allows them to perform online. It was created by
streaming,
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
streaming
virtual
online
streaming,
virtually
live.
live
oh,
performances
Yeah,
created by the founder and creator of Pandora
yeah,
during the pandemic for the purpose of artists to be able to showcase their talents while they're locked,
yes.
while they're at home.
hmm
So they just started that last week, and they're like killing it
They are creating a fan base all over the
all
world,
around the
Oh,
world.
around
I
the
love
whole
it.
world.
Praise
Yeah,
God. I love it.
yeah. You
Yes.
can't beat it because outside of your regular performances, you can log in and perform as long as you want to. So right now we're just doing, they're doing an hour, but it
hmm
gives them real time experience,
Yeah.
and they're able to interact with the people
And
because
other
they're
artists.
chatting. Other artists are
Yeah.
logged in to watch them as well.
hmm
So it's an amazing platform. And just in a week, I've seen their performance, showmanship, presence grow. And just in a week,
Yeah.
hmm
because this is them performing every day in real time. So they're able to apply their actual personalities. And people can sense that on stage. You know,
Yep.
people
hmm
can sense that.
And they do
Those
have
make better
such stage
performances.
presence. I mean, it's
Thank you.
so now, and then that was going to ask you about that in the pandemic. Um, so many artists are not out and performing, and I know that you all used to be out and performing a lot of venues. How, of course, the sessions of that's one way, but how have you guys managed during the pandemic? It seems like it's been gangbusters. Like nothing really has, the pandemic hasn't slowed anything down, but from your point of view, has it affected anything?
That's a good question. You, Mama?
Um, it depends on how or who you're talking about when you ask that question. Did it slow the family down, us as a whole? No. Like the pandemic hardly affected us, as a matter of fact, because with having to support M3, and the family, that can be expensive trying to push, a music career and everything. So we were already going through what they call the struggle before the pandemic. So when the pandemic came, we was like, this is nothing. As a matter of fact, we knew how to survive. So we was making it even better than most. So
Okay.
so now, but as far as like, oh well, we were supposed to go on a school tour,
Mhm.
and that the pandemic stopped it.
None of
It
that.
everything that M3 had to do publicly, gone.
Gone.
But that they just was like, okay, whatever, we're gonna go in the studio, and that's when they were doing all these songs. And it would be like 2 weeks go by, and they'll have like 4 songs and be working on 2 more songs, and they got all these songs. I'm like, I can't even keep up. What y'all be in the studio? They doing all this, but that's what they use this downtime to basically work on their music.
Mhm.
And now, like, everything is just falling in place. Like now they have an opportunity to put all that work that they were doing still online, so it worked out.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
There
That's
you go.
right.
And success is the combination of where preparation meets opportunity. And they practice regularly, vigorously. And, now that these opportunities are opening up, they're prepared. They are ready. Sessions came about, they were ready. We had a social distanced show back on the 27th at this huge art gallery. And she's like, I need you guys for like 3 hours. We're like, we got a 2-hour set, easily run that, and that's just not a simple feat for anyone. A whole 2-hour set, in one sitting. But M3 has it in their back pockets, and that's not even counting original music. Counting original music, I mean, my goodness, we probably got 3-4 hour set easily. So we as a group, in terms of their skill and their talent, and oh my goodness, the songs, we've got like 5-6 albums easily, good albums, enough so that we can choose. Like we said, okay, we got to do a Christmas EP. We had to make a decision on that. But the next thing, we've got a single that we're going to release on like New Year's Eve. It's called 2021. And then we're going to release.
It's so good.
Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait.
We're going to release our Black Lives Matter album on February 1st for Black History Month.
Yeah.
Then we got 2 singles that's going to be released right around February 14th. That's like a really strong love song. So we've got, a lot of really good things in the works. What we're doing, we've partnered up with, what's the name of Shay's organization?
I would not know.
We partnered up with this one organization that is helping us with our branding, and it's they're coming in helping us with things like wardrobe and marketing. That way we can focus on making the music here. We can focus on what we do best instead of having to try to balance all of these things. Now, by the grace of God, we've got a team. We all work together, and as I pointed out, we all are. Everybody's got an opinion. We can sit down with the family, and everybody in the room has a different opinion. And then I have to say, okay, you know what, we're just going to do this. I have to make the final decision because everybody will have an opinion. But that's good because somebody will think of something that nobody else did. I'm sorry. Like I said, we can ramble on and on.
No. This is good. I mean, this is what people want to hear, the behind the scenes and the hard work that goes into it. Because what you see when you see them performing and harmonizing and singing and looking all handsome, that's just a very small piece of all of the work that goes into keeping this train in the station and rolling on time. So
yes, it is.
This is good. This is good for people to hear. And I love that they took this time. I've always said the pandemic, God has a purpose in this pandemic for everyone. And that this time really gave them the downtime to create and plan and prepare for a bigger stage than all of those local shows that were canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And if we look at it like that,
Right.
it's like, okay, we cancel a lot of local shows, but we have been on the grind, and now we're ready, and now we're around the world. It's global.
Mm-hmm.
And look at God. I mean, so it's just the purpose in all of it. There's no accident or no mistake. And so this is just,
Yes.
I'm just ready. Now I'm ready. I want to hear this. I'm ready to hear these singles and hear what's coming out next, because I know it's going to be awesome. I know we've talked about the wonderful things and the great things, and I asked the young men this about, what's your greatest excitement, and what is the hard part. But for you guys as parents, what scares you the most about this journey for them?
Ooh, you
Well,
can go first.
Come on, Mama.
I can go first. For me, it's just the music industry and
yes,
what comes
Lord.
with it is very evil, and like
Yes.
the especially like the good ones, the ones that are doing right, they seem to get to be under attack the most. So they have to stay really strong, and I think that's what I really fear about the whole journey and them going, because I do feel like they will make it big, and um it's just the evils of the demons that come after people when they're on top of everything. That's
Got
really
that right.
what I'm afraid of the most.
Likewise, that's our
Yeah.
biggest concern. Like, we can protect them somewhat now,
Yeah.
and even now, you know, people. The music industry is very, very evil. It's very dark. It's controlled by darker forces. You have to
Yeah.
maneuver around those, and
Yeah.
you have to really stay grounded. Now they have a team, thank God, primarily one another. Them three, they're there together when no one else is around. So they provide checks and balances for each other. Like, bro, you really gonna do that? And I remember my brother was younger than me. He was like 3 years younger than me. And as teenagers, that's a big difference. So he wasn't there with me, kicking and hanging with me. You know what I mean? So those three, they're right there next to each other. So they're there to really prevent each other from making big mistakes, and they stick together. So that's my biggest concern, just like her, is just so dark, that we're not able to protect them in certain instances.
Yeah.
But we teach them. I mean, there is no amount of money or opportunity that's worth your self-worth or your integrity or
Your
or
soul.
who you are.
Yeah.
There's just no money, there's no price that can buy you. You know what it's like to have a lot, but you know what it's like to have very, very little.
Mhm.
I'll share this with you. I went to prison for a year in 2014.
Mhm.
I came back and I moved in with my mother for about 6, 7 months until I'm a broker, so I'm able to make a lot of money in a short period of time until I can make enough money to kind of get on my feet. So during that time frame, I picked up the boys to spend the summer with me. Now, my mother was living off of her Social Security. So when I tell you that 2 to 3 months not having very much money, we had some of the best times of our lives in that little bitty house down there in Vienna, Georgia. My
Right.
mama, myself, and those three boys.
Mhm.
So they know what it's like to have a lot, and they know what it's like to have a little. And the thing is, I'm like, if you are accustomed, if you can live with appreciating what you've got, sometimes you got to be grateful for what you got and not for what you want, then nobody can buy you. Nobody can tempt you and say, well, do these things that are nefarious. Here, I'm going to give you all this stuff right here. You can say no and still feel good and be fine eating your peanut butter and jelly and be praising the Lord for that peanut butter and jelly that you didn't even have to have. So these are things that we teach the kids.
Mhm.
Praise God for this peanut butter and jelly. Praise God for this steak and lobster over here.
Right. That's right. Exactly. That's right. And I tell people all the time that Um, it's a blessing to be from a small town and from
Mhm.
a place where I think when we were kids, it was one traffic light. I mean,
One
Rita, you've
traffic
seen
light
it.
in the whole
It's,
town.
it's small.
Mhm. Oh, what about
um,
that town?
it's
Very
really small.
good.
Mm.
But I do think there's a blessing in that because you do have a down home, humble, very down earth. When you're home, it doesn't matter where you've traveled to. When you come home, you're home.
Mhm.
And when you can introduce your kids to that, my kids love Vienna. They love it, and it's nothing. There's no Starbucks, there's no Barnes and Noble, there's no mall. you
Yep,
know,
the boys
it's
love it there too.
you got to go to Cordial just to to get some Chick-fil-A or whatever. So, and they love it. And
Hmm.
I love that they love it because they get the best of both worlds. Yeah, you come home and you're in the suburbs of Atlanta and you get to experience all of these things.
Hmm.
But you see where mama grew up and they love that just as much too. And I think when you have a
Exactly.
little bit of that mix in there,
Hmm.
it's just I think that gives them a different perspective. I think you get you gain a different perspective when you have that small town, but hey, we can go to the big city. But
Right.
we know how to dig. We know how to get down in a small town too.
Right.
On Social Security shit.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
that's the difference. That's a foundation for them. So
Foundation. Well
I
said.
love that. I just have a few more questions because you've already shared about what scares you most. But in terms of how the opinions of others, because they are exposed now and open now globally, what is your advice to them about reading reviews or listening to the opinions of others? I know you guys share as a family, but outside of that, I'm sure now people are commenting or saying things. What do you say? You say ignore the reviews, or
Yeah, well, we haven't encountered any heavy reviews yet. You're gonna always have haters and things like that.
Mhm.
We have taught them to just ignore that, like they're above it, and sometimes it's not easy to do.
Right.
You gonna say
That's
something?
never a problem.
Yeah.
That is never a problem. Though they don't let the opinions of others affect them at all. But they also know when to take positive criticism.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
um, but like as far as like letting opinion or just like people having things to say, that never affects them. They're like, ha! They actually like laugh at it, make fun of the person that said it. So it's like a whole joke thing to them. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think they have an advantage too because they're brothers.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
gonna stick
Exactly.
together.
yeah,
So that's a
Exactly.
beautiful thing.
Mhm.
yeah.
And it doesn't seem to be much between Madrid and the seer and Egypt, even though Egypt is just a wee bit younger. But
Yeah.
they still seem to operate kind of as a single unit and even
Yeah.
on the same level of
Yes.
maturity wise and emotionally.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. In some instances, Egypt
Egypt
is
is
the most
more.
mature.
Yeah.
I was about to
It's the
say
most.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's the young one.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Hmm.
it's the young one who's like, are you serious right now? To check the older ones
Yeah.
Hmm.
sometimes. Yeah.
The wise things that come out of his mouth, you would just be surprised that he would even
Mhm.
say it. And I'm speaking about 5 years ago. Like, what? He just said that.
That's awesome. That's exactly what you need there.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've talked about this, and we're almost done, but I have to ask. I know you're a family of faith. Um, what role does that play for you in this journey?
It's everything because when it appears anything else is falling apart, you can all your faith is there. When it seems like it's not gonna work, your faith knows it, you know otherwise in your feeling, in your heart, in your spirit, in your soul, and that's what faith is about. Believing in things unseen. You know, I teach that to them. Believe, know, and when I even teach them when they pray. Pray and claim things as you pray, and this is how we pray. All of us, we pray and we thank the Lord for success. We thank the Lord for so much money that we can help people all over the world. These are things that we pray about. We pray for ourselves and pray for others. So it is all about faith and believing and being grounded in that way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. I love that. So now you have a large, beautiful family. Are there any more songbirds in the nest?
You know it.
Oh my goodness. All of my kids are talented, like
Uh-huh.
multi-talented,
Mhm.
just like
Mhm.
his.
Mhm.
And a funny thing is, that's not the only coincidence. Like I also have a set of twins with a child right back behind. So I have a set of three that's like triplets, like that was in diapers. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but my twins are boy girl.
We
Okay.
have two
Okay.
sets of twins in this
We
house.
have two
Yes.
sets of twins. As a matter of fact, we have 7 children, and the ages are 17, 17, 15, 15, 10, 10, and 8.
Oh my goodness.
So we have 3 sets of kids the same age.
The same age. Now you know this is providence. You know y'all supposed to be. You know this was destined right here. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Y'all are like the new braided bunch, the McWilliams bunch.
The black version.
Yes.
The black
The
version.
Black McWilliams bunch.
Mhm.
Good grief. You know what though? I love that. This is a large family. So what is a typical day for you guys? Because
What?
that's a
Oh,
lot of folks in that house.
me not killing myself and thanking the Lord that I didn't do it and having the strength to survive. That's what it is.
I don't let them drive me crazy like that. I don't
He
even
don't
do
be
it.
he be in the studio. It be me.
Okay.
Whatever.
I'm the one.
Look, when I come around, they come ask me how they mess. I'm like, go ask your mama.
He sent it to me. So I have a kid
You gonna
asking
get
me a
me in
question
trouble.
every 5
Go
minutes,
ask your
knocking on
mama.
the door.
Oh my goodness.
They'll
One of
co-
seven coming to you. What a
they'll
Yes.
leave from where I am and go in there and ask her. And then she'll be like, go ask your dad.
what you just said with your name.
Go ahead. Ooh.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah, we love them to
awesome.
death. But
Mhm.
the small kids are the next in line to get lessons from this guy here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Very
yeah.
lucky. Very
Are
lucky.
they
All,
excited
all of them
about
are
it?
talented.
That's a blessing. Are they excited? Are they like, when is our turn?
Yeah.
When do we get? They're
Yes.
ready.
Yes. Very much
They're
so.
asking it, oh, Mama, we want to do a song. I'm like, you talk to Mr. Egypt about that. I don't handle that. Go talk to that. Go to the studio.
Oh, that's awesome. You guys have been an absolute delight. It's such a blessing to talk to you, to hear
Likewise, glad
your
to be here.
advice.
Thank you.
Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you would want to say, or is there any advice you have for parents who are thinking, I have talented children, where do I start? What should I do? How do I manage that? What would you say to them?
Shoot, you have to start. You have to find their passion and nurture. Nurture. Let me two things: find their talent and their passions, and nurture those things. And you got to be forgiving, and you have to listen, and you have to talk to them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's some of the best advice. You got to nurture their talents. You know,
Right.
if you want them to do this thing over here, you want them to build cabinets, but they have two, you know, five thumbs. Don't make them build cabinets. I mean,
Right.
have them do what you know they can do.
Yeah, and you just have to guide them in the right way,
Hmm.
and what that talent is. Like with my oldest son, um, I guess, parents with his dad, they get into, they're busy, and so when a child come and show you something that they created, you could kind of like, oh, well, go, stop doing that childish stuff. A lot of parents don't recognize their kids' gifts. They'll just say, "Oh, well, they're doing this childish. You need to grow out of that." Like if a child draws a lot, now he want to do a draw when he's supposed to be doing other things.
Mhm.
So you just guide them in a way where they can use that talent to be successful.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. That's
Yeah,
such
yeah,
a beautiful
definitely.
thing.
Even if
yeah,
they themselves begin to fall off track, you got to make them go to practice.
yeah,
Even if they say, "Well, I don't want to go to
yeah.
baseball practice anymore." Oh, well, guess what? You committed to doing it.
Right.
We've had to do that quite a few times
Yeah.
with something they've committed to. Like, well, you
Mhm.
shouldn't have met you. They're counting on you, and you
Right.
made a
Yeah.
commitment to do it, buddy. Guess what? That's the real world.
Yeah.
You're gonna complete that class.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's great advice. That's wonderful advice. And I love, Rita, what you said about, not just ignoring that, the talent. I happen to have an
Yeah.
artist on my hands,
All
and
right.
he will draw when he's supposed to be reading or doing something. And it's so easy to just be like,
Yeah.
what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
But I don't want to put that fire out because he is talented. And
Right.
so I have to be intentional. I really have to stop myself and say,
Mhm.
okay,
Hmm.
okay, stop mama mode. Let me see what you're working on. Let's sit down.
Right.
Show me what you're drawing. And then I'll say, now we're gonna have to do this after class
There you
kind of
go.
thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's so important because I did catch myself sometimes just like, are you in math or you draw, and you quickly snap and that can put someone's fire out so
Right.
quickly.
Right.
So that's so important. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
Very
Thank you.
important. Well,
Yes.
guys, you guys are wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just
Thank
a
you.
Thank you.
delight.
It's
Just a
all
delight.
couldn't do anything without him.
That's right.
Oh no, you're exactly right. And it's so obvious you have a talented family and a beautiful relationship. And I can't wait to see who's next. We got M3. What's next? We're gonna have M2. What's gonna happen? I'm
Hey,
excited.
it ain't all rainbows and sunshine. I tell you what, happy costs. There's a
Yes.
price, and
Yes.
most are not willing to pay it and do not understand why they are not as happy as they should be.
That's a word right there. You want to elaborate a little bit more? Just give us a little bit
Oh,
more on that.
oh yeah. When it's the storm is so dark that it looks like it's night. It's hailing outside.
You want to give up?
Okay, so you really think the sun is not coming back? But
Yeah.
as vague as this analogy may seem, people live that way. Forget you. I'm tired of you. I make my own money. I'm gonna go and get another wife, or I'm gonna go get another husband. Well, fine, y'all go do what you want to do. You
Yeah.
can't stay here with me.
Yeah.
Don't be out there in them streets, your kids. Go ahead on. Don't kill me. Fine then. Don't come back here to me. We're so easy to get caught up in our egos and our emotion. But I mean, just imagine if, Christ did that to us.
Right.
I mean,
Mm.
as vile as things as we've done to the creator, and this is the
Yeah.
creator.
Right.
So us as people, we can't be patient. Maya Angelou once said, she's I'm paraphrasing, I can't quote her exactly, but she's like, when people that you love, they mess up, they keep messing up, you know what you do? You keep loving them and you keep forgiving them.
Mhm.
And I thought it was
That's right.
profound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As simple as it may seem, I thought it was profound because that's not what we're really taught. We're really taught they mess up, forget that. You ain't finna keep doing me like that,
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
that's how we treat things in life in every scenario, be it work, be it relationships. And obviously she's not saying be a floor mat for anyone, but I understand what she means. That's why I say happy costs. There's a price. Sometimes you have to forgive one another. then you have to put the past behind. You have to choose to love.
Yeah.
You have to choose to not be angry, because all of that anger, lack of forgiveness, mistrust, these things are going to hinder your happiness, you know. And even the people that think they're happy, they're not really happy when you harbor those feelings.
Right.
That's just,
And people just take all them issues, they leave one relationship, and they
them
take
to the
all of them
next.
to the next one.
Take them
All
to
the baggage, all of it.
Yeah,
Right.
people don't reflect. They
Mhm.
don't look at themselves, and that's really where the change starts within you.
starts with you.
Yeah, and you have to have that going into your relationship and carry that with you in your relationship, because it's hard. It's hard dealing with a whole other grown person and
And then
a whole bunch of kids.
and then the kids, they start to be teenagers, so
and
they feel grown. They feel grown. So they want you to treat them grown, but they still
right.
why you got five cups in your room?
Not doing right.
Bro, when you went to the kitchen to get another cup, you couldn't just take a cup and
we have a demerit system. I want to tell you about that. We have a demerit system in the house, and I got this from when I was a cheerleader in school. Yeah. And what it is you get these points counted against you, or strikes, whatever, of accountability. If you do something wrong, you get that demerit, and if they add up, you get a punishment, or you can't do something, or you get a restriction. So when we have that demerit, and I had a whole meeting with everybody. I said, we're gonna have this family meeting, and y'all are going to do these rules. These are the rules, X, Y, Z. And if you don't do it, you will get a demerit. And I don't care what you say, the demerit's going on the board if you ain't do your job. And I assigned everybody a job, and I even assigned one of the older children to overlook them, like basically running a restaurant. You got your manager, then you got your workers, you got your cleaners, you got everybody. So I said, this is how we're gonna do it. So we've been doing it that way, and it's been working. And like that makes them take responsibility for their actions when they're like, I didn't do that. I had a whole back and forth with M3 and J3 today. My kids, all my kids' names start with J, so we call them the J4. But 3 of them are here. So I'm having a whole back and forth with them. They're like, no, well, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. Well, guess what? I had to do it, so everybody gets a demerit. Yes, that's how we do in here.
I love it.
That implementation of that demerit system, that was
genius.
Sheer. Okay,
that's genius.
Give you credit?
Okay.
Can I give it to you? I was gonna say brilliant, but that system, and see, here's the beauty of that system. You can fuss at them and you can talk to them, but when you got a board with all these kids, and you walk in there and people got a line by their name, you can like, okay, I'm safe today. And it kind of gives you something to strive for. Or if you have a line, why do I got 2? Okay, I got it. So now you're cognizant of it, as aware. With so many kids, you might get a little fussed at, but it wasn't quite enough pressure to get you to do right. And we were struggling with that.
Yeah.
Because it's so many kids.
Yeah.
And then so it's so many kids, you got to have a certain amount of order.
Yeah.
And it was driving her crazy.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I ain't gonna let them drive me crazy. So the demerit system was the most effective move.
I love that.
Parenting.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
I'm gonna have to write a book about that.
Corny. It may sound like it should only be in a white family. I don't care.
No.
That system
This is great.
is extraordinarily effective, because when those kids
you ain't gotta whoop nobody.
They see that line by their name, and they like, I got to get rid of that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We need a master's class on this demerit system.
Oh,
You need to put that online.
Yes.
Teach a class, have people sign up. I'm going to be in there. I'm your friend.
Yeah.
Because I've tried and failed. I'm like, I'm putting this on the board, but then I get tired and forget to keep up with the third list myself. But it sounds like yours is very organized.
Jesus. Yes.
Yeah.
You can make some mad money. I know about 20 mamas right now.
I am seriously thinking about it. As we're talking about this. I'm like, how can I get this together? I'm gonna make a whole guide, a handbook, and everything.
Something. I'll download it, put it together. I'm gonna download.
Yeah. I mean, I thank the Lord that I thought about that, because I was like, how am I gonna get these? Because they won't take responsibility for it, and I'm like, and we're big on building character. Everybody, you're responsible, take responsibility for what you do, and if nobody takes responsibility, then everybody has to take responsibility,
That's
everybody
right.
gonna, so yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm gonna look on now. You got me thinking. I'm like, I need to get my demerit system back on.
Yeah, yes, it's 3 strikes and you out.
Yeah,
I
three
love
strikes,
it.
and
3
you have
strikes
like
and
your
out
device taken for a pretty decent amount of time. How long? How long you got it?
for 2 or 3 days. But it depends, because they can get the demerits taken off, but they have to do something extraordinary.
Right, not something that you
Oh,
ordinarily do. You have
Yeah.
to do something extraordinary to
Like
have taken off.
I have, I get overwhelmed by laundry.
yeah.
So if you want that demerit taken off, you do 2 loads of laundry. Boom. And they be like, okay. And then they go and they do it, because it's their devices are their life. So they don't want that taken away. So
This is
they'll do
genius.
it.
You sitting on a gold mine, Rita. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, girl, all
So
you need
you
to
know
do is
what?
encourage me, honey.
You got look. I'm gonna put the battery in the back in your back and wind you up. Go ahead. That I'm
Yes.
telling you that your system. I'm telling you, share it with the people, because this
Yeah.
folks out here struggling. I don't have but two.
Oh yes, honey. You get a whole bunch of kids, you figure some stuff out.
Yes.
Right.
Mm.
Oh my goodness.
You
And you
got it
and you
good. You got
producing
it
music
easy.
and you got albums coming out and you're just a talented family. I mean, just look at I mean it's a beautiful
God.
thing.
It's
It's a
God.
it's a lot. Yeah, I'm not gonna. It's sometimes you going sun up, sun down.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna lie. Most days, sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
You rarely have like idle time to like. We we used to like have a few shows we would watch. We don't
We don't
even
even do
we
that
don't
no
even do
more.
that. We just don't have time. It's just not.
Really.
Right.
Yeah,
We
because once
don't.
you get caught up with one thing, it's something else that's got to be done,
Yeah.
or else it's the end of the evening, and it's like, man, I'm tired. I got a long day tomorrow. Let's go to bed.
Uh-huh. What about vacation? How do
Oh,
you
We're
all
we
make
big on
go
time?
on
that.
workcations.
Yeah.
With
Okay.
my work, I can work anywhere. And so
Okay.
I started promoting a tour, and really it was like a coastal tour
Mm-hmm.
for my business. And so we were like going before it got like all the way up until October, when it started getting cold and stuff started being all crazy. We haven't been able to travel, so that's been on pause. But
Right.
the plan is, as I'm going on my tour, we're also going to have the boys doing gigs and performing as we're going too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, this gives us a
Yeah.
change of scenery, and we can kind of relax, but still stay in the rhythm of being productive as well.
Right.
Right. That
So
makes perfect.
our workcations are just like vacations.
For us,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Basically.
I
right.
mean,
You're not at home. You're in a different place, and
Right.
yeah,
perhaps enjoy not having to cook your own food. And even if you are, still maybe overlooking a
Right.
beach or something like that. You don't
Right.
mind
yeah,
cooking
Right.
over the beach.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah. When we have
Exactly.
time where it's it's a particular day, we're somewhat caught up, or there are things that we just can't, like say our Sunday. Maybe the boys are gone to their moms, and we're kind of caught up. Just the notion of just not doing anything is a mini vacation for us.
Right.
Just
Right.
not doing nothing. Like, let's just
That's true.
lay here and just lay here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just be. Let's just
Yeah,
be.
Yeah.
that
Be still.
such a
Yeah.
peaceful. Yes, I
Right.
Yeah.
understand the premise of you do need to rest. But
Yeah.
the hard work does make it the rest worthwhile. It does, and
Mhm.
it all has its own rewards, and we're all constantly going. All of us, the bigger boys, now that they're bigger, this last year, I say but we've been on them about, like, you're not kids anymore. Like, we're counting on you like young adults. All this idle time that you playing on social media and all of that, that's over with. You need to be productive. Like,
Right.
your social media and getting on your devices, that needs to be like a treat, not your way of life. That's over with. You're young men, and shortly you're going to be old enough to go out on your own. And what are you going to be doing with your time? Being productive or screwing around these devices and playing around? So we're implementing, that, like, right now.
Right.
Right now, it's a big deal to us. Like, what have you
Yeah.
been doing today? What have you gotten done today?
Mhm. That's right. That is smart. You're exactly right. And that's in the business and the industry that you're in. You have to be on the grind
To be
Yeah.
competitive.
all the
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
just who's home not doing anything. They don't have any albums dropping for 5 years at a time.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you're right. That's a wonderful thing. I love the way you guys are parenting and just working this family deal and the music industry
Thank
deal.
you.
And I am honored and grateful to you for joining me on this podcast. And I'm just excited for new things, for big things. Egypt, if somebody wants to come to you do you produce others? Or if they want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yes, yeah, they can reach me through M3's Instagram, which is M3 underscore ATL. They can always contact me that way, and that's probably right now the best way to reach me.
Okay. All right. Rita, is there any service that you provide besides getting that guide together for this demerit system? Is there anything that anybody can reach out to you for, or any help, or do you have a consulting service or anything that you do?
I do. I do. My website is pinkwellnessspa.com.
Okay. Okay.
And that's if you know people want a massage. But we will be giving counseling services soon, like life coaching and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, and we'll be doing that soon. We haven't started that just yet, but be looking for that in the near future.
So now, if someone wants a massage, do you guys come to their home? How does that work?
I do travel. I travel
Okay.
if given advance notice, of course.
Okay.
But I also have an in spa in my home. In home
Oh,
spa. Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Say that website again now for the people, for the parents who don't have the wherewithal to put the demerit system together that might need a massage. What's that website again? We need to do it. We need to help the people. What is that
Oh
website?
yes, yes, yes. Pinkwellnessspa.com. Pinkwellnessspa.com.
Pinkwellnessspa.com.
Yes, yes.
All right. We'll put that in the show notes and let everybody know and make sure that they reach out and follow you. And Egypt, Rita, absolute pleasure. I can't wait to
Likewise.
Thank you.
hear what's next. I know it's going to be amazing, and I'm just happy just to be on the sidelines to see you guys go to that next level. And I am grateful to you for joining us on the Life Can Be a Niche podcast.
Glad to be here.
And
Thank
it's
you.
just been wonderful. Thank you for joining us on the show. Everybody, you have heard it here. You can get your massage done. You need some music production, some music advice. You need to get at Egypt Williams and 3 underscore ATL. Make sure y'all cop that EP, Black Christmas. Don't sleep on that.
Yes.
It's beautiful compilation, wonderful vocals. You already heard it here. They do it all. They sing, they dance, they rap, they produce, they write, they play their own instruments. You don't want to sleep on this group. ATL, I need you all to get out there and support this family and really get after it and show them some love. These are young men doing positive things, doing wonderful things, and doing their purpose and walking in their purpose. So let's help them along the way and be the wind beneath their wings to get them where they need to go. And with all of that being said, thank you for riding with us on the podcast. Always be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we'll
That's right.
see you when we see you. And we're out.
Merry Christmas from M3.
When I was a little kid, I got them toys. I couldn't wait to wake up on that Christmas morn. If I didn't get what I wanted, I would cry oh so hard. I was so spoiled. I didn't really know what I should want. Oh. But then when I became a teenager, wanted shoes and clothes and everything name brand. Electronic devices were my vices. Just a kid, I didn't know what I liked then. And my parents stressing, they didn't know how to impress me. Till I opened my eyes and realized what I've always had inside.